my God, it's the beginning of 2024, and you won't believe it, but we're back for an episode of the Steel Target Paint podcast. Just so you weren't sure of who actually does this, I'm Jeff Jones, and one of my best friends in this game is with me as well.
I'm Steve Foster. How's it going, Jeff? Long time no chat.
I know, Steve, it's been great. Well, we both had a lot of things happening, both in our personal and professional lives. Hey, did I tell you I retired?
Oh, you may have brought it up almost as many times as I brought up I've got a home range, Jeff, but I'm sure you'll get there.
It's close. It's going to take me a while to catch up on that. Speaking of that, it's hilarious. You don't know how many people that see my van and see the sticker that John Bardis made, and the story that I able to tell. And speaking of John Bardis, everybody, so I'm going to share this with you. Late last year, John had a heart attack. Everything went great, triple bypass. He's back up on his feet. He's going to be at the West Florida match if he's not already shooting already at Volusia. So if you know John, just think good thoughts of him, because he pulled through with flying colors. So
awesome.
Yeah,
John's a great guy.
Good news. Yeah. So speaking of that, I would like to touch on the first topic, which is very self-serving, and that's my West Florida Steel Challenge Championships.
You got enough people signed up now that it's not during the the hottest, muggiest day of the year down
Yeah.
the I'm just saying. It wasn't that long ago. I was talking to Larry the other night. He's like, man, that was a hot match a couple of years back.
So you figured that
last year was
yeah, that first year we did it later in the year, and it was a monsoon that came through.
I remember the boat.
Then we moved it for a couple years, we moved it up, and yeah, it was hot as Hades. Last year, we moved it to February, and it was a resounding success. And it's again in February. In fact, it's 1 month away from this weekend, and here we are 1 month away, and I am one gun shy of tying the record.
All right, so do you got any spots on Sunday left, or
Sunday filled up like quick. Everybody wants to be around to make sure they're there for awards. So there are still some Saturday spots available. So
okay,
we got some people coming from everywhere. Kurt Omensetter is coming down, and he's also bringing Ryan Wagner from the Northeast. From Area 5, the Kemmers are coming down with Richard Stokes and some other folks. Of course, you're coming from Georgia. Zach Jones, my brother from another mother, is coming down from South Carolina. And let's see, we've got where is T-Rex from? Is she from Alabama or from Tennessee? Anyways, T-Rex.
Is she in Mississippi or Louisiana?
Maybe
Mississippi.
I saw her at the Mississippi match. So T-Rex is coming, and she just talked the Cypriots into coming down, so they're coming down. So it's going to be the beginning of another old home days, like Worlds, where I walk around, and luckily I'll be shooting on RO day. So all these people that are at the match, I'm going to be able to spend some time and just have some fun. And here's the really cool part, Steve. In past years, I've struggled, but just made. And having enough ROs and painters for most of the stages. This year, the influx of students and people that want to help from outside is amazing. And I literally am going to have 5 support staff on each stage to help out.
Wow.
So as a shooter, you get to come, you get to shoot, and you get to enjoy the match. That's it. Don't have to paint.
Is there foot rubs involved or not? I mean, that's going to be awesome.
I didn't go that far, but I will tell you, Brian Conley from Hunters HD Gold's going to be there with a Magical Mystery Tour. Last year, the van was down, but I believe it's back up and running, and he's going to be there. And of course, he sets up the shooter's lounge, and I can't guarantee a foot rub, but I can guarantee you a nice place to chill out. So
heck yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and we, for those that are interested, we redesigned the match shirts, and the match shirts are available at Zero Sports. You still got a chance to go order those. If you go online to Zero Sports, I think it's zerosports.com. You search for West Florida, you will see our new shirt design. So that's available as well.
How much are they, Jeff? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think if you have them shipped to the match, they're $47.50.
Okay.
So you can order them and have them shipped to the match, and they will bulk ship them with my RO shirts.
Awesome.
So normally I think they're 65 plus shipping. So if you're interested in one, getting it delivered to the match is the way to go. So
I like it.
we're very excited about that now. And just for those, I know we've got, I would say a considerable amount of our shooters are Steel Challenge shooters, but next week at the WAC, we are hosting the Florida State USPSA match.
Awesome.
So yeah, and I pretty much, since I retired from corporate America, but I've stepped up my my training, and I'm at the range at least 4 and sometimes 5 days a week teaching, which has been very rewarding. I know you coach and teach, and you know what it feels like when you teach somebody how to get a little better, and then the next thing you hear, they're shooting personal bests. It's a great feeling. Uh-oh.
It really is.
Oh, there you are. Okay.
All
good.
right, Jeff. Hey, I got a surprise topic for you. You ready for this one?
Let's hear it.
All right, let's spend an hour talking about all the current drama going on in USPSA. No, I'm kidding.
No. See, this is a drama-free zone.
You promise?
I promise. We are. Here's the cool thing about Steel Challenge is that we have a committee. I feel very fortunate to be on that committee, and we make some recommendations to the board based on what we feel the sport needs. And up to this point, they've been very receptive in listening to us. And in fact, the implementation and execution of one of those happened a week ago, and that was the slot policy.
Awesome.
And it really, I think it's not only gonna it's a performance-based award where you get to register early. We've got about 100 guns registered early. If you earned a slot, you should have received an email, and there are still lots of. Yep. Oh, that's right. You got one, so you got in. And so it's it's just we're hoping it's really gonna ease that psychosis of open registration, which for those that don't know is February 3rd. So that's always crazy. So how many guns you plan on shooting at Worlds this year, Steve?
I don't know, maybe 3, 5, 6. I don't know. I'll probably there's a little increase in match entry fee, but I'll probably shoot 3 or 4. I've already signed up to be on the PCC super squad, and I got a slot through the slot policy, so I got 2. I'm maybe just get 1 or 2 more and call it good. Space it out, have fun, spend time in vendors row a little bit, see what's going on down there, and it'll be interesting to see with I've heard a lot of people talk about the price increase. We'll see if it affects registration much, but I think it's going to be another close to full match again this year.
I understand people's concerns. I mean, money can be tight for a lot of people, but when you put together hotels, food, travel expenses, and the fact that historically that match loses money, runs in the red. If you remember, we had Jake Martins on last year where we talked about how much in the red that match ran. The $25 increase to make sure we have a match and it's clearly not going to make the match end up in the black, but
Yeah.
it's going to lessen that. And I
Yep.
appreciate, for those that feel it's too expensive. I, applaud them. I've always been of the opinion that matches are allowed to charge whatever they want, and shooters have to make a decision as to whether or not they want to pay that. And I respect going and I respect not going. So for those that are going to be there, I can't wait to see you. My goal, because I'm retired, is to drive up Monday, and I plan on being there for the duration.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And
That's really awesome.
right now I've got 3 in. I earned three pre-registration slots, and hoping to get at least one more through open registration. And who knows? You know me. Last minute, I always seem to add something and end up shooting 5 or 6 guns. But
Yeah,
definitely less rifles for me. Definitely less rifles for me this year.
If you're gonna be there on Monday, you will be suckered into, oh hey, let's you got an open spot on Wednesday?
Oh, exactly.
I know how that goes.
Yep, that I have done that. I have done that before. But there's a lot of looking at the pre-registration slots. It's very interesting, and I helped come up with a policy and derive the people who won it based on the WSSC area matches, and including the Canadian Nationals, which well, I don't know if it's called the Canadian Nationals, but the Canadian match. We considered that an area match, and awarded a few from there.
Oh, that's cool.
The interesting thing is that it, a lot of people thought it was only going to support the best shooters. And it actually is at the WSSC, it goes pretty deep, but it also goes deep into the categories and the classes. So
for sure,
there are already some B and C class shooters who earn slots that have pre-registered for the WSSC. And I think that's fantastic. And that's something that everybody should understand. It's not just the top shooters that are getting in, the class and the category. I mean, I got in because of being a fast old guy.
Yeah.
So, I feel very fortunate there. And there's a lot of juniors that got in. Of course, most of them are faster than me. But many super senior, distinguished seniors earned slots because of category finishes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
So have you been able to shoot much?
So it's kind of interesting you say that. It's with my new job and all that kind of stuff. Man, I hadn't shot much since mid November through December. It was pretty much working 7 days a week. I'm not sure when it started, when it stopped, to be honest with you. So it was good. We had a great, successful season, and got the guns back out, did some dry firing, and shot a match for the first time in a while on this past Saturday. And boy, Caleb Peterson and I went and met up with the Bakers and a couple of other folks there. Man, I think it was 33 degrees when we started shooting. It was cold, Jeff. I was like, I didn't know I became a shooting diva. I'm from New York, and I don't know when I got soft, but I did.
No, Steve, that's not being soft. Now, granted, I live in Florida, and so cold is relative. But we had a match this past Sunday at Ruskin, and it was chilly, it was nippy, but I was shooting on a squad with Lori O'Rear, and we were recanting or remembering the Georgia match.
Oh, jeez.
Where we started the match and it was like 37 degrees.
Yep.
And they had burn barrels at every bay.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I think that was 2018. Yeah, I think it was
it was
18.
5 years ago. Yeah, it was. I remember because there was some things in that match that
I remember.
stick out.
I remember. I remember.
Teddy
Yep.
Gart. I was shooting with. I met Teddy Gartman that year.
Yep.
And his daughter was shooting with us,
Yep. And with the site
and
issue, right?
she
Yeah.
had her front sight
Yeah.
came right out of her RFPI, and she was going to quit the match, and I'm like, no, you're not. And we were down shooting. I think it was
We're
Pendulum.
down at. Yeah, it was down on one of those bays
Was it
down on the
Pendulum?
left. I
No,
think
or Pendulum or Speed Option. It was the one that was way down a range.
yeah, it was because they shot at Pendulum and then whew, I think, man, where was
It was
Outer
the
Limits
stage
set up?
before Outer Limits.
Yeah, it was because there was the little one ducked down, the
Yeah,
one way down in that was Showdown, or I'm sorry, Speed Option.
Speed
So
Option.
it
So I
had to
think
been,
I think it was Pendulum,
yeah, it was
and
Pendulum.
and I'll
Yep.
never forget. Of course, it's cold, and it's like I couldn't find anybody with a cart, so it's like, okay, I got to hoof it to the van, and I hoofed it to the van, and I brought my kid out, and we got her fiber put back in, and she got to finish the match, and it was just great, and this is why I have my shooting van because having spare parts at home doesn't do you any good if your gun breaks down on the range.
Yep.
So, so what else you
So
been up to? So you've been working
man,
and you've been shooting. How'd you shoot? You didn't
man,
share that. Was the old Steve back or do you knocking the rust off?
man, it was actually pretty interesting. I shot two out of the three fast stages, sub six, out of the gate, so that was good. Shot around about, I don't know, maybe a 585 or something like that, and then Showdown did the same. But we actually started on Smoking Hope. I think I shot a 643. Man, it was probably one of the toughest shooting conditions I've ever shot in, and that includes shooting in the dungeon down there with you. The sun, the
It's
dungeon.
it's a home field advantage, baby.
I, I'm telling you what, man, I never am going to start on that stage at that hour of the day. And some of it probably because of the time change and all that. We're coming
Mm-hmm.
out of winter, but the sun was right over plate number one, right over the top of the berm, looking you right in the face. It was, dude, it was crazy. So, and it was kind of tough. It was definitely tough to see. A little bit challenging to hear because they had a class going on, and so you had 85 people all shooting at 20 shots at a target, and I'm like, so it was very tough to hear anything else going on. You barely hear the timer go off.
Right.
Man, it was so tough to shoot. So I think I shot like a 643 somewhere in there. But man, I was rolling. So I shot pretty well. I shot pretty well. I did have man, it was so cold. I did have a magazine issue on Pendulum, so I had to eat like a 3.6 or 3.8 or something like that. I had two strings with same issue, so they were within whatever from one, like
Yep.
0.2 seconds, kind of rack and go kind of deal.
was this rimfire or
Oh
PCC?
yeah, no, it
Rimfire.
was
Okay.
rimfire rifle open. It yeah, so I was rolling. Man, I'm not sure what I would have taken with a good pendulum score, but I'd probably put myself right at 59 or 60 if we shot all eight, somewhere in there
Beautiful.
with the situation I had. So I felt good about that, but man, I just kept thinking about all the meat left on the bone. So I was pretty happy after being away from it for as long as I have. Maybe it helped me focus a little bit. I don't know, Jeff, but yeah. How about you? You been shooting much?
I've been shooting, but for the record, I just want you to understand how many people under their breath are saying nasty words to you, being upset that you shot a 59. Okay, let's just make that clear. Okay.
Well, we didn't shoot. We did not shoot five to go or speed option. But
Okay,
even though
so
I shot them,
59 for a 6-stage match.
well, I shot a 44 on a 6-stage match.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
that's
So
fair.
if I added my other times I would have got on those other two stages, I probably Yeah, I was on pace between that 59 and 61, somewhere in there.
Okay, well
So
you're you're
yeah,
you're
it's
you're slightly saving face, but you're still pissed a lot of people off.
yeah, yeah. I just like with roundabout, man. It was one of those things. I hadn't looked at my string times, but they were really consistent. They were in the maybe the first one was like a 157. The other ones were like 140, 143, somewhere in there. It was all really consistent. That's what I was most happy with, was
Right.
my level of consistency. So hey, I was happy with it.
Well, last weekend, we had our night match and it was cold, and I was shooting carry optics and started out great on 5 to go and put down a solid master time for me on that. And then it got colder, and I'm going to fall into my excuse, which is irrelevant, but I'm the match director, so I gotta make sure everybody else is having a good time, and it's basically just a way to make me feel better when I shoot bad, and not take the blame on myself. But
Hey, you
Sunday,
gotta do what you gotta do.
yeah, Sunday we shot Ruskin. I shot rimfire pistol optic. I shot my, what I call my pay grade for me. That's right in that. I think I shot
Yeah,
a 76, which for me is a solid
that's not
score.
bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, I'm focused, because of the shoulder, which I did not get surgery, but I've rehabbed it to the point where it does not hurt to shoot pistols. I'm not shooting. I haven't picked up a rifle other than, maybe showing somebody how to do something in training since Worlds
Oh wow.
last year. Yeah, it's just it hurts too much. And I'll take a comment that Robert Van Sickle made to me a couple of years ago when we were talking on the phone, and he said, "You're a pistol shooter that also shoots rifles." He goes, "We're all rifle shooters that try to shoot pistols." So,
That's a fair assessment.
yeah, so I'm focusing on RFPO, carry optics, broke the open gun back out.
Heck
I'm going to
yeah.
start working on the open gun, and of course I love the OSR, so I'm gonna keep shooting that. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of opportunity there, a lot of learning that I have to do in the differences in uh shooting the revolver, you know, especially on the big transitions, learning how to prep the trigger. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so that's been a lot of fun and a lot of challenge. And, I got to give Matt Meeks a run for his money. He's a great guy out there in California, shot great last year in OSR and ISR. So, I got to keep him honest. So,
That's awesome. Yeah, the other thing going on here is did a did a design and finish the prototyping for new base pads for the 2245 that work with the grips and magwell. So they're going off to production here. Should be done here next 2 weeks or so. So I look forward to getting those out in the market. But pretty excited about that. So
that's
ran them this
awesome.
past weekend, just doing some testing, and man, feels good. Gives just a little bit extra weight to the magazine, and boy, that baby comes kicking out of that frame pretty good. So really pleased with the fit and finish. So I'm super excited about that. Then on to the
That's
next one, Jeff.
That's cool. Well, I've got two grips. I know a number of people that I have in just at the whack alone that shoot RFPO, and I'm like, hold this gun, hold these grips, and the next thing you know, they're either contacting you or going to Tandem Cross and getting a set. In fact, I had a guy this week said, "Hey, I saw Marcello's grips, and he said you turned him onto those. Where do I get them?" I'm like, "I got you covered, buddy." So,
That's awesome.
so Steve, I'm
That's
gonna,
awesome. I appreciate it.
This isn't meant to embarrass you, but I'm gonna tell a little story about you. Okay?
Which one is it?
Well, so this just happened this week, and I just want to share to everybody how much I appreciate Steve and what he does for the sport. So I had a new student, and she was shooting limited optics, which would be open in
Yep.
Steel Challenge. And afterwards, she tried my Scorpion and just was enamored with rimfire pistol. And her husband went searching around and found a gun locally, and it was going to be a stock Mamba from a retail store.
Yep.
And I texted him back and I said, just give me half a day. And I contacted you, and then I got you guys in touch on a text message. And I think so I trained them on Monday, and I think by Tuesday afternoon, you had them all set up with a 4.5-inch Mamba with Kraken lower and a Billy Strickland thumb ledge and God knows what else. But I just want to say thank you. I know you made their day, and it's just nice to know you've got friends that you can go to, that have the stuff and are willing to help out and make stuff happen. So thank you for that.
No, I appreciate you sending them my way, and I think it's not necessarily about a gun sale or anything like that. And we've talked about it on the podcast numerous times. I've had a gun safe full of mistakes, and once you know that you want to take it serious, there's a couple of options to go down with pistols, but then there's all those other things that you and I forget about because we've been doing it long enough, about magazines and base pads and shooting bags and optics and those. It's tough that whether I do a good job of it or not, hey, I'm in the quote unquote shooting business, but I don't, if anybody asks me about, hey, what do I shoot? This is what I shoot. This is why. And I'm very transparent with them that, hey, they're also one of my sponsors, but this is why I sought them out for a sponsorship. It's not one of these kind of things that, Vortex came to me because they saw me shooting a Seymour and said, hey, we're going to give you a check for $5,000 a year. You put it. No, I actually had a poor experience with.
Okay, hold on, Steve. Steve.
And I was like,
but wait. Go back to $5,000 a year. You digitized there for a second. I want everybody to hear this full story.
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Yeah. So Vortex didn't approach me and say, hey, we're going to give you $5,000 a year and all the optics for life if you put a logo on your jersey. It was about finding a company that had a great product, the best warranty in the business, and they support the sport like no other.
Yep.
And for people like you and me, people don't understand the type of, and I'm going on a Vortex path here, but Vortex, whenever I've been the sponsorship coordinator for whether it's Area 6 or Jamie's match or, all the other matches I've been involved with, Vortex doesn't even bat an eye. They do so much to support the sport, let alone individual sponsorships, but for match sponsorships, it's those types of companies I love talking about. And I'll be open and honest and tell people, hey, there's a shortcoming, or what are you trying to accomplish with your optic? I'll walk you right through it. And that's what I like about this sport. It's just, hey, there's no strings attached. If you buy a gun, you buy a gun. If you do this, you do this. Hey, if you want some cool laser engraving or Cerakote on something, be more than happy to help you out. But it's just giving back and with knowledge,
Absolutely. Let me share something that I don't know if everybody understands, but the title of this year's big match is the Ruger World Speed Shooting Championships presented by Vortex.
Yeah.
So you have two great supporters of Steel Challenge as the headlining sponsors of the match. Then that's fantastic. And there's been some great supporters in the past. And I'm pretty sure years ago Ruger was a title sponsor, and it's great to see them back again, and Vortex as well. So it's we'd all still be able to shoot without them. But it makes it so much easier And, you know, you love to walk around the matches and see all of the patches and logos that are on people's shirts and the support that they're giving to all of their sponsors, whoever it is. I think it's fantastic.
And you know what's kind of funny, Jeff? I didn't realize this when I started talking about Vortex, is that I'm actually driving home from work and I'm actually wearing a Vortex hoodie. It's just it's tough to explain, right? Because
okay.
you know, a lot of people.
Yep.
Well, a lot of people, you know, well, oh yeah, Vortex does this, or you know, Ruger spends, I don't know, was it 10, 20 grand, something like that. I hate to go with the number, but yeah, they do that to make an investment in the sport. But they're, you know, to tie the 1-to-1 ratio back to, hey, Ruger spent 25 grand on, you know, being the title sponsor of the World Speed Shoot. You know, tie back $25,000 in sales just to break even. That's not how it works, at least from what I've seen. That's why a lot of companies don't sponsor matches. And that's why Larry and Steel Target Paint, you know, he sponsors a ton. Brian with Hunter's HD Gold sponsors a ton. And some of it is sales related, but if you really get down to the meat and potatoes of it, they're really trying to support the sport and grow what they love. You know what I mean? And it's we'll also say this. There's a good friend of mine, well, ours, Kurt Grimes, he told me this. He said, man, Steve, once you get this company, Creekside Custom, up and going, he said, people come out of the woodwork asking for free stuff. And you know what, Kurt, like a lot of things, was right. Yeah, I said that on the podcast. Kurt Grimes, you were right. And it's you know, I wish I do a lot. I wish I could do more, but I end up doing a lot of sponsorships that make me feel good and help younger shooters. And I know Larry does a lot of the same. It's you know, it's not about the ROI, because from what I've seen in my small case study, whether it's with, you know, being the team captain of the Steel Target Paint shooting team or the owner of Creekside Custom, it's definitely nowhere even close to a 1-to-1 relationship. And that's okay. It's more about the supporting the sport and supporting the people that are in it, you know?
Oh,
so,
I
anyway.
100% agree. So you mentioned the hoodie, and while I don't have it on, I can see it right here hanging in my closet. I received the new Steel Target Paint hoodie, which is a beautiful color blue this year.
It is.
And so I will be sporting that at matches. But you were also talking, you mentioned our great friend Brian Conley. And, you know, last year he ran the Gold Cup series.
Yeah.
And that he did not have to do that. Let's be clear. That was something he dreamt up that he wanted to do. And I feel very fortunate because I was one of the winners. And you mentioned the Grimes, and both Grimes, Kurt and Maria, were winners.
Yeah.
But this was something he didn't have to do. It didn't generate him any ROI. You know, it was something that he chose to do. He wanted to do it, and that's just who he is. And
it's because of things like that where, you know, Brian did a Hunter's HD Gold, I think it was a Christmas giveaway. He said, hey, Steve, I'm doing this. You want anything to do with it? I said yes before he finished asking. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah, it's a great community, but it takes the support of the community to help it grow and flourish, for sure.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, wow. You know, we could go on for days, but we haven't talked for a while. And, you know, like I've always said, I consider you one of my best friends. And, you know, this is just you and I, you know, shooting the bull and, you know, calling out some friends and keeping some people, informed and what's going on. I know last year you planned on making the West Florida match and you got sick.
I did.
And had to pull out. But I know you are also signed up for the match, as I mentioned. Again, for those that are interested in trying to start your season off, there are still spots available. Our match fee is $50.
Jeff, do you have a list of all the other major matches coming up between now and the World Speed Shoot? I think there's
I don't, but I can in a few seconds here because I happen to be sitting in front of my computer, and we will go to matches, and we will go to the state and section matches. So mine kicks off. Then in March is the U.S. Steel Nationals over in Volusia. Then you've got there's a match in April, beginning of April, the CMP, Alabama Speed Shooting Championships. So that's going to be there at Talladega at the CMP. You've got the Area 4 Steel Challenge Championships that same weekend in April, first weekend in April. Second weekend in April, you've got the Tennessee State Championships. Third weekend in April, you've got Area 3. Empire State, that's the New York State Steel Championships. That's going to be at the end of April. Then you've got the warm-up match at the CMP. They're calling it 8 in the Gate, Race to the Worlds. That's going to be the CMP first weekend in May. Then you got Pennsylvania, Pricetown running it. That's at the Pricetown Rifle and Pistol Club. I'll bet money Kurt Omensetter is very involved, if not running that. And that's going to be mid-May. End of May, you've got, of course, the WSSC at the CMP. The week after that, you've got Area 5 in Indiana. Guess who's going to shoot Area 5 this year, Steve?
Let me guess, the newly retired guy.
That's right, baby. I'm gonna cruise out from the CMP, and I'm gonna head up to Illinois and spend a little time with my daughter and grandkids, and then grab my granddaughter, and we're gonna go to the Area 5 championships. Very excited about that. It's a match I've always wanted to try to make, and the timing was perfect. And I'll have a nice little co-pilot on the way back with my granddaughter, bringing her back to spend some time for the summer here in Florida. So that'll be cool. So yeah, that brings us through the first half of the year. And there are still, second half of the year, there's still another 12, 13 matches.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, Metal Madness, Ed's big match.
Yeah, he's got his national championships coming up, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think it's the first weekend in June. I don't know, end of May, beginning of June. I think it's right after the World Speed Shoot, maybe the next weekend or something like that. There's a lot of matches going on in the first 6 months of the year. Probably the most that I can remember in the last 6-7 years.
Yeah, we're gonna knock out a lot of matches, and for the first time ever that I can remember, last year, all 8 areas had an area match.
That's awesome.
And I think it's going to happen again this year. I know Area 4, which was one of the late entries last year, is actually on the major match schedule now. Again, we mentioned that at the beginning of April, but I'm seeing there's 4, there's 5, there's 1, there's 8, there's 7, there's 2, there's 6. I'm not seeing, did I miss Area 3? That might not have been. Oh, no, there's Area 3. I think that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, that's
fantastic. Awesome. That's fantastic. And remember, everybody, with the slot policy, when you live in that area and you go shoot, and the appropriate number of shooters in your division, class, or category shoot, and you perform, you will win an opportunity to have a pre-registration slot code for the 2025 WSSC. So that's really cool. It's really cool. And I plan on making Area 6 this year. I had to miss it. My dad was having some surgery that weekend, so I had to miss it. But I definitely plan on making that match. That's going to be back up at Little River in the end of the year, Jamie's running that match, and Steve, as we've always said, family comes first. So it hurt missing that match. I missed it for the right reasons. But I'm not going to miss it again this year.
Yeah, and I debated bringing this up, Jeff, between us, but I think it's important that people realize that, unfortunately, Jeff's father passed away here not too long ago. So if you guys are thinking about Jeff, please do so. I know
Thanks,
how
Steve.
important he was to you in your life, and whew,
thanks, buddy.
Sorry to hear that, brother.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, he was a big part of my life, and extremely supportive of me in all my endeavors. Loved to hear about, even my local matches. How'd the match go? How'd you do? How many students shot with you? Did you teach anybody anything new? He was not a shooter. He just loved being supportive, and it was great. So thank you for that. Thank you.
And you talk to him pretty much every day, right?
I did. Yeah. For 12 years. If I didn't pick up the phone by 8:30, my phone was ringing with him calling me. And sometimes those calls lasted 5 minutes. Sometimes they lasted 30. And it was, and he was always so funny. He'd call me and he goes, "Is this a good time? Is this a good time?" I'm like, "Dad, you're my dad. It's always a good time. I will always answer the phone for you."
It always cracked me up because I'd be talking to you today. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go. My dad's calling." I wish I had $1 for every time I heard that, which is awesome because I talk to my dad every single day.
Well, that's
on
awesome.
my way to work. So
that's fantastic, man. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So, all right, man. Well,
all right, it's great talking
with you. Thank you to everybody. We're gonna, I say this all the time, but I think both Steve and I are back into a position where we can start doing these more consistently. I know there's a lot of things that we'd like to just get out there and share and laugh and have some fun. And I just want to say to everybody who's listened in the past and who's listening now, thank you. We appreciate this. We don't make a dime on this, and we don't want to make a dime on this. We want to keep this so we can do it our way, and we don't answer to anybody but Larry, and Larry appreciates what we do. And thank you, Larry, for giving us the ability to use the Steel Target Paint name as a driver to bring people to the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man.
All right,
well,
Jeff,
have a safe trip.
Have a good evening. It was good talking with you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Oh, wait, you still there?
Yeah, I am.
We forgot. We end every podcast. How do we end every podcast, Steve?
Go to rangestore.net and use discount code STPodcast10 for 10% off.
Okay, I can sleep now. I feel much better. Thank you.
See you, man.
Bye.